upset and were lashing out, doing things that we're doing, with the negative stigma that's been placed on gangs and groups from this area, those groups that are usually against each other came together as one, which you know is a miracle in itself. Because not only were they together, but they were protecting people of the African American persuasion, and would not allow those domiciles, those businesses to be affected by what was going on at all.
Now, you said you're a United States Army veteran. How did you feel about the massive police presence and the National Guard presence that was there pretty much starting that night and then the whole week afterwards?
Okay. With calling in the National Guard, I thought that response was not necessary at that time, okay? That just allowed you to see how undertrained the Baltimore City Police Departments are. And that's not just pertaining to interacting with peoples in the neighborhoods, in the communities, but as being responsible officers of the law. The civil unrest broke them apart. You know what I mean? They collapsed just as well as any other, you know what I mean, any other business that went through something. They fell apart. Whereas the governor took over, and that was his response, which I don't think was necessary. Because what it did, man, it isolated our sick and our shut-ins. And there was no response to that, which was terrible.
What do you mean? How did having National Guard and police from around the region, how did having that presence isolate the sick and shut-in?
The area that they maintained, where they were able to go to the bathrooms, use restrooms, storage of water and meals, MREs, meals, whatever, all of that happened in the feeding and party room in the senior citizen building, okay? So imagine if you've got 500 soldiers present, okay? So you got 250 soldiers using the men's, 250 using the women, right? Well, that same room that those meals and water were stored is the area where the sick, the shut-ins, the people that live in the senior citizen building eat every Tuesday and Thursday. They have a meal together every Tuesday and Thursday.
Oh, and because of that, they weren't able to meet that Tuesday and that Thursday.
The whole time it was going on. The whole time the protest, the civil unrest, the entire time that was going on, that it just totally isolated me more. Because now they're not coming from their apartments down. And you gotta realize, man, for some of those people, it's the only time they leave their apartments. Okay?
So just to clarify, you're saying that the soldiers or the National Guard, the police that came in from out of state, out of town, they were using these senior facilities as a staging ground for their food.
Staging ground for movement, storage, movement, bathroom runs. Some probably just went in to get out of because they had so much gear on. Me being in the military, I know how much weight the gear that they were carrying weighs, and to be dressed like that and standing in one particular area for almost 24 hours, man. You know?
Do you know which senior centers were affected by that?
Now, I can tell you the ones that I normally see moving in their wheelchairs and things, their power wheelchairs, didn't see them.
Well, I mean, do you know which facilities were affected by this?
1600 building.
1600 building?
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. It's been about 6 weeks since everything took place. How do you feel about everything now?
I'm gonna give you the raw truth. 2 weeks ago, a group from the United Kingdom came to Baltimore City to shoot a documentary pertaining to the uproars and the civil unrest, right? But I would say a week and a half before that, there wasn't a corner you didn't see a police or soldier on. Wasn't not one corner. A week and a half later, this is supposed to be such a bad area, wasn't a police on that corner. And if you did see him, he was there 10 minutes and he disappeared. I told people 3 weeks ago, I told him also, I said, for everything that went on around here, all of a sudden now, a week later, a young man got shot in Curry Street. And I watched this boy run out of Curry Street, run over to the corner of Norfolk, Pennsylvania, sit down on the ground, bleeding from the hand, bleeding from the general area, the lower stomach, between his knees and his stomach. There was a police response. Homicide or detectives responded once they found out where he was shot at. But once that was over, poof, they were gone. And you can do it yourself. Just come through every 3 hours and take a picture of the four corners at Pennsylvania North Avenue and see if they're occupied by any officers. And people, before this even happened, people had already told us officers weren't responding to calls. Any unrest in this neighborhood, they didn't want to respond to. And they're calling it, these officers are supposed to be supporting the decision to prosecute officers involved with the death of Freddie Gray. Okay? This is the excuse that they're using. And someone had to hear that to put it out. We knew because we live around here. And normal conflicts or run-ins with the police, that's the norm. They were null and void. They were out of sight, out of mind. But they tell you on the news, oh, it's so bad in this area. If it's so bad, and they say, Miss Wolf asked the police department to be more proficient in this area as an open drug market, and while they're trying to blame her for the confrontation.
State Attorney Mosby.
Yes, yes, I did say Wolf, didn't I? Yes, because of her statements to the Western Police District Station, they were supposed to up their passes, coming into contact with people in the Mount North in this area as an open-edge drug market. Right. They were supposed to be around more. Okay? Right. So now they want to use that to blame her for the officers who made contact with Freddie Gray. Well, here's the problem. She told them to respond to the areas on Mount and Freddie. Mount Bacon, in those areas, the project.
Gilmore Homes.
She never said North and Mount Street. And that's where the initial contact with Freddie Gray happened. North and Mount. Freddie Gray stopped and laid down on Presbury and Mount.
But you're saying that the state attorney's initial, her call for increased police surveillance, increased police presence was at North and Mount, not Presbury and Mount, where Freddie Gray ended up after everything took place. Interesting.
The step up was supposed to go around Presbury and Mount, around the project area. But initial contact with Freddie Gray was made North and Mount. And remember, he took off running the mountain. And I believe what happened was the police on the bicycles were coming up Mount Street, and he knew he was closed in, so he stopped and laid down. Did y'all know that? Freddie Gray stopped running and sat down. And through all that, they still climbed on top of that boy. They still put knees in his back and his neck. And you see he wore next to nothing. So if you can imagine 200, let's just say 200-pound officers on an 80 or 90-pound young man, what the outcome is going to be of that? Couldn't be positive in no shape or form, right? But it happened.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you.